Today we are looking at Bitcoin and this weekly opening, which is currently red. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to the channel, and we are back with Bitcoin, this time on weekly time frame, daily, and also on few hourly time frames like 4 hour or 1 hour. So straight to the facts, we see that last week got closed above this branch of resistance, and the new weekly opening is currently showing some weakness already, which means the price is overbought, meaning slight bullish movement and a bearish movement straight at the beginning of the week. Now the Bollinger Bands is still in our bot zone on weekly time frame, and same goes for the RSI as well, which is currently having a sharp turnover to the lower zones, which is a good and might also mean that we will see a nice crossover with this yellow line as well. Now on a smaller time frames, meaning like daily and 4 hour, we see that 3 or even like 4 daily straight candles are in bearish trend. Now starting from November the 11th, we have had we won't consider this like as a nice breakout because it was pretty weak breakout. And as you all know that those zones, they're not just like lines of resistance, they're like zones of resistance, meaning that this whole zone here is one huge resistance line. Now, it got pushed basically near the Bollinger Band's upper line, and now heading back to the middle line of the Bollinger Band, which is this line here, which will also mean that the price will be back in our like retest zone, which we also have been talking about. So let's move those two away here. And this whole yellow line here is the retest of this trend here. So let me mark this one as well with the yellow color. So first touch or a push, touch, breakdown, retest. As always, we go for a retest after a breakdown or breakout. And now we will see a potential movement to this very 32k zone, 32k zone. Now, going even closer, so we had heavy manipulations. Price got pushed as a last attempt to break out from this zone, as we have been talking about. I will put this back to the blue, but failed, and currently it also made a ton of breakoff structures as well. Now on a 1 hour time frame, we see that this zone here is fair value gap zone, meaning that not only this but also from here, let me check, from here and like this. So this is our major fair value gap zone, which we want to be tested before any kind of significant movement. So potential what we will see is some sort of movement like this to this zone, as we talked earlier. Then maybe some sort of bullish movement or retest to the upper zones, potential movement to $40k, which is more of like psychological resistance rather than like real resistance. But we won't even there is a chance that we won't see any push here. But again, if we see push, we will go for like $40k and then movement to the lower zones again. Now, one interesting fact as well, which we have been talking about today in our Telegram channels, is that Warren Buffett has sold in the last week, or like 4 or 5 weeks, 4 days ago, majority of his stocks. It was like $50 million of stocks, if I'm not mistaken. So if stocks go down, there is high chance of cryptocurrencies to go down as well. So with that being said, some big players know what's going on in the market. They see that the markets are overbought, not only crypto market, not only Bitcoin, but also the stocks as well. Now getting back on a weekly time frame, putting automatic. So historically, let's see. The last time we have been in overbought zone, as we mentioned, I think, or no, I didn't mention it, of course, but last time we had been in oversold zone was like with the same zone. So historically, we have been once, twice, and 3 times. With each time on a weekly time frame, once we were in overbought zone, there's a high potential for bearish movement. Now we can see here we had, so since this zone here, which was $9,000, price started to enter the overbought zone, had some bullish movement to the upper zones, and then went straight back inside, like to touch the slower side of the Bollinger, sorry, not the Bollinger Bands, but RSI. Now, second time we were outside was here, like here, went outside, stayed a little bit, came down. And of course, same goes here. We have been massively overbought since the 4th of June 2021. We still had some sort of bullish moment here, but as mentioned, RSI was overbought. We had to come to the lower side, so we went down. Now the same goes basically here. There is a high chance of price to move to this $32K, then some slight movement to the upper zones, and then a potential movement to test again these lower zones. Now these lower zones will be tested here most likely if we touch the market price of Bitcoin to around 24K, I think. So I think game plan is pretty simple still. Weekly opening is good for us. The optimism of bullish movement and the fake news is getting slowly suppressed. On 4-hour time frame, we see as well that one nice red candle and another one is coming straight down with it, slightly trying to push for potential breakout again, but failing. So again, the game plan is simple. We are going to wait for the potential movement to $32K, and from this zone, we want to see a potential movement to the 40K zone. Now, on a daily time frame, again we see RSI is overbought. Even the yellow line of the RSI is outside the Bollinger, again the Bollinger Bands, outside the RSI original zones, signing it is overbought. Same situation happened here basically, where we see that the price movement was like, I think, minus 10%. So we were massively outside, although we still pushed to the upper sides. We then came to the lower side and tested this zone, meaning that we had minus 20% of market movement. But if we consider the price since the all-time high on the RSI, we had minus 14% of market movement. And same can happen here, meaning let's basically tap it here and we see that it's exactly at $32K, which is pretty interesting. So even if you like push it a little bit up, exactly the same movement. So all indicators tell us we will see a potential movement to the lower zones. So this is what we are going to wait for. This is it for today. I hope you liked this video and see you in the next session.